3 nights ago, someone left a VHS tape outside my apartment door. No note, no name, nothing. Just one sentence written on the tape in black marker. You should watch this alone. I thought it was some stupid prank, until I played the tape, because the video on it was filmed inside my apartment. This happened during winter, around late January. I'd just moved into a new apartment building downtown. It wasn't fancy, but it was cheap. And honestly, that's all I cared about at the time. The building itself felt old, not historic old, just forgotten. The hallways smelled like dust and old carpet. The lights flickered constantly, and at night, the place became completely silent. Too silent. Like everyone disappeared after midnight. The only person I ever really noticed was the guy living across from me. I never learned his name, but I saw him almost every night. Usually standing in the hallway, just smoking silently near the stairwell. He was older, maybe late 50s, always wore the same dark coat, and every time I saw him, he looked exhausted, like he hadn't slept in weeks. At first we barely talked, just awkward nods in the hallway. But after a while, I started noticing something weird. Sometimes I'd hear movement outside my apartment late at night. Very slow footsteps, back and forth, right outside my door. The first time I checked, nobody was there. The second time, I saw the neighbor walking away toward the stairs. He never looked back at me, just disappeared downstairs. After that, I started locking my door twice before bed. I know that sounds paranoid, but something about the guy felt wrong. Not dangerous exactly, just off, like he knew something I didn't. Then one night, I came home from work around 11 p.m. The hallway lights were flickering again, and sitting directly in front of my apartment door was a VHS tape. Old black plastic, no case, no label, except for words written in marker across the front. Watch this tonight. I remember looking down the hallway immediately, but nobody was there, just silence. And somewhere downstairs, I heard a door slowly close. The weirdest part, I didn't even own a VHS player, so honestly, I almost threw the tape away. I mean, who even uses VHS anymore? It felt ridiculous. But something about it bothered me. Not the tape itself, the handwriting, the way the words looked rushed, uneven, like whoever wrote them was nervous. So instead of throwing it away, I put it on the kitchen counter and tried to forget about it. That didn't last very long. Around 2 a.m., I woke up to footsteps outside my apartment again. Slow, heavy, back and forth, right outside my bedroom wall. At first I stayed in bed, trying to ignore it, but then the footsteps stopped completely, and a few seconds later, something scratched against my front door, very slowly, like fingernails dragging across wood. That's when I got up. I grabbed my phone flashlight and walked toward the hallway. The apartment felt freezing cold, way colder than before. I remember seeing my breath slightly. Then I looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty, completely empty, except for one thing. The neighbor's apartment door was open, just slightly, and the lights inside were off. I stared at it for a while, waiting to see movement, but nothing happened. Then slowly, the apartment door creaked open a little more. I backed away from the peephole immediately. I don't know why. Instinct maybe, but suddenly I had this horrible feeling that someone on the other side was staring directly back through the peephole. The next morning, I drove across town looking for a VHS player. Most places didn't even sell them anymore. Eventually I found one at a thrift store, dusty, half broken, but it worked. I almost didn't watch the tape. Seriously. Part of me already knew something was wrong, but curiosity wins way too often, especially when you think there's still a logical explanation. So that night, I locked the apartment door, closed every curtain, turned off the lights, and inserted the tape. Per voi video. At first, there was only static, old distorted VHS noise. The screen flickered for a few seconds. Then the image appeared, and my stomach dropped immediately, because the camera was inside my apartment, filming my living room, from the corner near the ceiling, like a hidden security camera. The footage looked old, grainy, distorted, but it was definitely my apartment. Then I saw myself walk into frame. The timestamp on the footage said tomorrow's date. I remember staring at the screen for several seconds, trying to convince myself I read it wrong. Maybe the numbers were distorted, maybe the tape was edited, but no matter how many times I checked, the date stayed the same. Tomorrow. Not yesterday, not last week. Tomorrow. At first, nothing strange happened in the footage. I watched myself enter the apartment, drop my keys on the counter, take off my jacket, exactly like I always did. Every movement was familiar. Too familiar. Like someone had been studying me for weeks. Then the footage suddenly skipped forward. The screen warped violently for a second, and when the image stabilized, the apartment was dark. The timestamp said 3:02 a.m. According to the footage, I was asleep in the bedroom. The camera faced the hallway leading to my room. Nothing moved for almost an entire minute. Just static, darkness. Then, someone walked into frame. I couldn't breathe for a second. The figure moved slowly through the hallway. Tall, thin, wearing a long, dark coat. The same coat my neighbor always wore. But something about the footage felt wrong. The figure wasn't walking normally. Its movements looked delayed somehow, like the tape couldn't fully record it. Frames kept skipping around the body, especially around the face. I never saw the face clearly. Not once. Every time the figure turned toward the camera, the image glitched violently, like the tape itself was trying to hide it. Then the figure stopped outside my bedroom door, completely still, for almost 30 seconds, just standing there in silence, watching. Then slowly, the bedroom door opened. I paused the tape immediately. My hands were shaking at that point, because my real bedroom door was directly behind me, and suddenly I realized it was slightly open, even though I always slept with it closed. I stared at the gap for several seconds, completely frozen, and then I heard movement inside my bedroom. Not loud movement, just fabric shifting slightly, like someone adjusting their position. On my bed, I slowly turned toward the hallway. The apartment was completely dark, except for the TV glow. And from where I sat, I could barely see the edge of my bedroom door moving, very slowly, opening wider. Then the TV behind me suddenly changed screens by itself, and the tape showed a live view of me sitting in the apartment. Not pre-recorded footage, not old video. Live. I remember seeing myself on the TV, sitting frozen on the couch, lit only by the glow of the screen. And behind me, the hallway to my bedroom. At first nothing moved. Then the image distorted slightly, and something stepped into the hallway behind me. Tall, dark, motionless. The same figure from the tape, standing only a few feet behind me. I didn't turn around immediately. I couldn't. my entire body locked up, because deep down, I already knew something horrifying. If the TV showed it behind me, then it was actually there. The figure slowly tilted its head, and the screen glitched violently around its face again, like the camera physically couldn't capture it properly. Then suddenly, the TV audio started playing whispering. Very quiet at first, almost impossible to understand. But after a few seconds, I realized the whispers were repeating my name. That's when I finally turned around. The hallway was empty. Nothing there, no figure, no movement. But my bedroom door was completely open now, and inside the room, I heard breathing, slow breathing, deep breathing, like someone trying to stay quiet. The TV behind me suddenly shut off. The apartment went completely dark. And then, I heard footsteps running toward me from inside the bedroom. I ran for the front door instantly. Didn't look back. Didn't grab my phone. Nothing. I just sprinted into the hallway. And right before the apartment door slammed behind me, I heard the TV turn back on inside. Then loud static. Then whispering again. And then my own voice, screaming. I never went back into that apartment, not even for my stuff. The police checked the place the next day. They found nothing unusual, no hidden cameras, no signs of forced entry, and the neighbor across the hall, his apartment was empty, completely abandoned. The landlord said nobody had lived there in over 2 years, but that's not even the worst part. A week later, I got another VHS tape in the mail. No return address, no note. Just today's date written on the front. I still haven't watched it, but every night around 3 a.m., my TV turns on by itself for a few seconds. And I swear, sometimes I can hear footsteps inside the hallway on the screen.